Hey,
Where?
Mac.
The
knife, and
Where?
Chatting.
with
Milky. Well, I mean, when we came in last time, it was For Labour in Vain, which is the first single off of this EP. So it was all recorded at around the same time. So it flows pretty well in terms of themes with like the rest of the singles that have been released since. I think that Labour in Vain was the first single that we kind of like put out, I guess, properly in parentheses. Before that, we just kind of like put out songs or like put out an EP and just seeing what happened. Whereas that was the first one that we were like actually pushing. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot doing that. So I think in terms of on the back end for us, like, yeah, I guess we've learned how to manage ourselves as a band a bit better. And we are still learning, really. Every day. Lyrics-wise, I wrote, I think most of all of the tracks on the EP lyrically. Track 1 is Flea. I was listening to a lot of like Nick Cave and Ice Age at the time when I wrote it, and it's kind of its own thing on the EP, which I'm really happy about because it kind of stands out from the rest. It's a bit different, it's a bit slower, it's a bit more disjointed, and yeah, Flea explores the notion of like getting stage fright or like getting prepared to have a difficult conversation and then not being able to follow through on it, essentially. Curb is it's actually from when I was living in Perth. I don't want to name and shame anyone, but I had a housemate and their partner was around all the time, and they kind of just wouldn't stop talking about a bunch of stuff that they obviously had no idea about but talked very passionately about, and it's kind of about dealing with that situation. Lesson Familiar is about coming home to your hometown and also just kind of getting to that age a bit past being like late teens, like early 20s, and stuff in your life starting to get a bit more hectic, and just a bit you're seeing life in a different way and through a different lens after kind of things change, friendships fall away, people pass away. Blood of My Blood is about again, I don't want to like out people by saying it, but Blood of My Blood is about finding out a secret that has been kept from you for a long time and reframing the way that you see your life up until that point, and how everything can change on a dime, and whether you should accept something that is painful or bury it and ignore it, essentially. And then Labour in Vain is about me trying to stop people pleasing, essentially. It's all about trying to be your most honest and truthful self rather than trying to cater to what you think people want, which I'm still terrible at, so that's great. So Labour, and then there's also 2 remixes, one of which is by Lux and the other is by Vasili Papathanasopoulos.
Kai and Davey from Vasili Papathanasopoulos are 2 very good friends of mine, and so they've just been hanging about. We've musically been, I guess, connected since just after high school. I went to high school with Davey. You know, I mean, we love their stuff. We love having them around. They're beautiful, beautiful people, and they're incredible musicians. And I think it's not a combination that you would expect, which, I mean, I really like that, particularly when we played a show with them. They opened for us at Marrickville Bolo, which was really special particularly for me, because haven't had a chance to play with them except for, you know, just fun little muck around sort of things. So that was a really special experience, and, you know, even more meaningful that they were able to, redesign one of the songs that I was also a part of in a different, you know, musical group.
This remix by Lux, that's his name. That's his stage name, but his real name is Wade Kieran. He's a good friend of mine, and I remember a day we went up to the Blue Mountains, which is where his studio is, and to master the Vasili Papathanasopoulos remix, and he just looked at me and said, "Mate, you need at least two remixes on this EP." I was like, "Okay, who would be doing that?" And he just said, "I'll be doing it, obviously." And there was a period of time where he had about 3 days of just no work, And so he just thought, I'm just going to do this remix for you. And he did it. Did it in 3 days. We got our stems from our engineer, Nick Hatzikos, and it was done in about 2 or 3 days. So that was pretty breezy.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And he smashed it. Killed it. Absolutely smashed it.
How did we?
I think we had like a sit down one day with all of us, and we just thought, look, we have to really think about what we want to do to progress. And we didn't get a whiteboard out, but we mentally did. And we just thought, what road can we go down? And I think Bryn's lyrics really did help. Like when we were writing the songs, Bryn just sort of said, this is what every song is about. And we kind of sonically matched that. But yeah, every song is different, obviously, different roads. But that's kind of how it started.
And also, so we sat down with Mikey, who produced the EP, and Nick, who engineered the EP, and we had like a bunch of reference tracks that we kind of had all contributed to, and being like, this is how we want it to sound. This is like the depth, or this is like the tone that we want. Like a lot of Fontaine's DC, Idols, Murder Capital as well, who's another Irish post-punk band. They were kind of like the big influences for the sound that we were finding.
Well, Bryn's a very good director and he's got really good visions generally. No, I'm joking. Yeah, Bryn's concepts are really, really good. Being an actor, he's got a lot of very, very talented friends. Yeah, so we've gotten to work with some really, really amazing people doing these video clips for a very low budget because we have no money. Yeah, it's just been really cool to work with all of these fantastic people, which are really because Bryn knows so many very cool people. He's a very cool guy himself. Yeah, like very, very cool people.
About me?
Oh yeah, more about Bryn.
I also think, I'm definitely a bit of a perfectionist and control freak when it comes to things. But I also just know the aesthetic and the level that we want to be at very well. And so I want to make sure we kind of hit that with everything. And like Curtis said, just being able to, work with different DOPs, with Callum Riddell, who shot the Blood of My Blood music video, and Roger Stonehouse, who shot Less Than Familiar. Both just absolutely incredible. And kind of we're able to work with my vision and amplify it and just turn it into something that's even better than what we could have imagined. But everyone also contributes so many ideas, on the day or in the lead up. Yeah, it's very much like a group effort. And then we've got a great music video for Flea that will be coming out towards the end of the month. So look out for that. Directed by Laura Brogan Brown, my girlfriend. Shout out.
I'd say Labour in Vain, I reckon. Labour in Vain, it does a lot in the song. It's not just, all the way through hard punk. You've got a lot of different elements. I think that showcases kind of what we do as a band pretty well. Personally, that would be my choice.
I would say Curb My Bite because it's got energy. It's got a good target audience. I think a lot of people like that kind of sound. Yeah, say Curb My Bite.
I was going to go with Curb as well, but you give me one more second, I'll think of another one. Because look, I would say Curb for the same sort of reasons. It's particularly for me was one of the first songs I learnt coming into the band, and it was the one I think with that energy, and it was really nice and approachable. That it was really easy to kind of find my place on stage, and for me that feels like that translates to the audience really well. So it means that, for me, I kind of think that if that's what can help me kind of find my way, then it's probably going to help other people find their way into liking the band as well. So yeah, that's probably Curb for me. Thanks.
I think I would say Labour as well. I think that's my favourite song on the EP. Yeah, or the song that I'm the most proud of in terms of the writing. And I think it's just gives you a feeling if someone hadn't listened to us, they'd understand the emotion behind the band, but then also the energy. Yeah, so I would go with Labour. I think that was the big thing we were trying to strive for with this EP, which was to get our live sound and energy emulated in the recording, which is a really hard thing to do, but I think that Mikey and Nick did a great job, and we managed to do that. Yeah. We've been sitting on this for a while, so we're all super excited to finally get it out there. And we've been playing these songs live for a while, but it's going to feel great to be able to have everyone know all the songs that are going to be released. And we're all super psyched. I think the energy is going to be electric. So yeah, I would get down there if I were you tonight, tomorrow night, next Saturday night, the following Wednesday, the 24th in Newcastle. Yeah. All the nights. Yeah. Anyone else? Any excited? Who's excited? Raise your hand.
I'm very excited.
They just all listened to what I you didn't have to. Raise your hand.
You excited?
Yeah, playing live for me is very important. I don't know. It's kind of like going on a holiday. Like you go on a holiday, you just feel relaxed, you come back to reality for a bit. It's the same thing for me, playing live. It's a bit of an escape for a brief moment, which not many people get to have. And yeah, I feel that way about playing live. Hence why I'm in 2 bands.
Yeah.
I was in 3 bands for a while and I just couldn't. So yeah.
I love it. It's my favourite thing to do. It makes working so many jobs worth it because you get to do what you're here to do. I mean, all my jobs give me the opportunity to go and be able to take time off to go on tour to play and do my craft. So that's I love it. That's what I love to do, man. Anthony, how much do you love playing shows?
So much. So much.
Why does it sound like
No, I mean, I think it's really, particularly when we've had such a long time between drinks in terms of releasing music. It's the only way we can continue to connect with the audiences. And then, I mean, yeah, I guess we're past the whole COVID thing, but we all grew up watching live music. And as cliche as it is to say, it is just as important when you see more people out there and you go, wow, that's really cool to be able to bring that experience to someone else. And that's like a pretty general answer for why it's great, but it still doesn't cease to amaze me how great it feels whenever you get on stage and you really play a good show and you feel not just connected with the audience, but you feel really connected as a band, and it kind of inspires you to go back and want to push more and put more music out so you can continue to kind of do that and, sustain yourself as a musical group and as an act. For us, I'd say Shame. I'd say Fontaine's definitely. Yeah, no, I'd probably just go with those 2.
I'd love to work with Big Thief. I think it would just be the best experience, but that's just me.
Is This It by The Strokes?
Pulp Fiction.
That.
What are you thinking?
What am I thinking?
Not much.
Anthony, what are you thinking?
Where do I look? I don't know. The whole time. Yeah. Eye contact. No, don't want it.
What do you think? What are you thinking? I want to know this.
Oh, what am I thinking?
It kind of changes every time for me.
Yeah. What am I thinking? Am I too far away from my pedals to put on something else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, bro?
I'm trying to not think, but then overthinking, not thinking, and then thinking about what I'm doing most of the time. But yeah, trying to not think. Just be, man.
Try to not think.
Be present.
Miley Cyrus.
Oh, maybe. And what's that as a legend?
Drops of Jupiter by Train. It's gonna be a Mac the Knife show. Right?
Yes, our own show.
Can I answer this one?
Yeah, sure. Oh, actually, sorry. Recently, Black Country New Road at the Opera House. They were incredible. Yeah, remember I asked you if you wanted to come. Did you want to answer?
Queens of the Stone Age. I know it sounds so generic, but it was seriously such a good show. It rocked. So good. Car seat headrest.
I was going to say Childish Gambino. Be cool. Or actually, oh my god, I'm blanking. Why is my brain not working? Genesis Owusu would be sick. Sick cover our songs. We love him. We love you.
We love him.
I love you. If you're watching this, I love you.
Just zoomed right on your face. I love you. Sticking with my answer from last time, Spice Girl for sure.
Yeah, I think. Maybe a Backstreet Boy. Maybe a Backstreet Boy.
Spice Girl.
Backstreet. Boy. Or big festival stage. Let's say Glastonbury.
The Wait by the band.
Playing with Press Club in Melbourne at Shock Kickers. That was by far my favourite gig we've done.
Jimmy Barnes. No. God, what's his name? He was in. He wrote Le Freak. What's his name? He's the disco guy. Nile Rodgers. Nile Rodgers, who's a recent discovery of mine. But yeah, I didn't know who he was up until very recently. And then I watched his video about how. This is a long answer. But yeah, Nile Rodgers.
It's like the treasure is here. No. I just think don't take yourself too seriously. Always going to be the one I go for both ways.
Everything.
It's that song. You only got 3 minutes to save the world.
That's the one.
Probably something.
JT and someone. It's from that movie.
No, probably something by Car Seat Headrest, because when the chorus comes in, that'll probably be when the world stops, because they're like 12-minute songs, right?
Yeah, the Ballad of Caustic Concordia.
Yeah.
It's like 12 minutes long.
What was the name of that one?
The Ballad of Caustic Concordia.
That one.
Well, I used to play the trumpet when I was a little kid, and then I couldn't sing when I did that. And then I got to high school, and I was like, wow, all these cool people playing in bands. I want to do that. And so I learnt guitar. But I've always kind of loved music, so I guess I've always had that. There's photos of me as a kid posing with a little guitar, wanting to be a rock star. So I think, yeah, from when I was a little boy.